Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Becoming CEO AF podcast. I'm your host, Kimba Garcia.
And I am your co-host, Amanda Bell. And today, you guys, we have Casey Hastings with us. She is such a beautiful soul. Let me share with you guys before Casey dives in here and tells you all about who she is. Casey was actually at the Breakfast Club that Kimba and I host once a month. In the morning, she had shown up one morning, and I remember she stood out like a beautiful sore thumb. In the best of ways, you guys, she comes in. Not only is she an attractive woman and she's easy to look at, her energy is so infectious. So Casey comes in, and I'm like, man, this woman is just standing all the way out. I got to find out more about her. Well, at the Breakfast Club, we don't have a lot of opportunities for everybody to speak a whole lot. So she ended up leaving. I left with her on my social media because you guys already know Kimba and I are big on if we're going to meet you and we're going to fall in love with some ounce of your soul at any degree, we're going to add you on social. A couple months ago, Kimba and I got invited out to a group called Success North Dallas, and it's a business entrepreneurial networking group out there. And you guys already know, Kimba and I show up to these things all the time, and the energy in this space that Casey is actually the CEO of this group, and the energy in this space is a direct correlation to who Casey is, no doubt. So not only did it like swoop us all the way up, we've now joined Success North Dallas to start being a part of their networking group, but Casey took over on our soul. The biggest thing that stood out to me while we were there was Casey's give back, the heart that she has and the passion that she has, and sharing not only the wisdom but the wealth, the knowledge, all of the nuggets with everybody that comes into her circle is so powerful. We were excited to be on board with that. Casey, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Wow, I need you to follow me around everywhere with those kind of introductions. I mean, I'm just like, oh, not hard to look at. Wow.
I'm like, you make it easy, sister. You make it easy.
Well, thank you for that. Thank you. And I just love, I give a keynote on energy. And one of the things I say to people, have you ever walked into a room and you just go, ooh, you just don't feel good? Well, the exact opposite happens when you walk into Success North Dallas. The energy in there is just palpable because the right people show up for the right reasons at the right time. It is a group of go-givers. If you have not read that book, The Go-Giver, you need to read that to understand the philosophy that is Success North Dallas.
I will second that, Casey. That's one of the first things that I did feel when I walked into Success North Dallas, which you are the CEO of, so naturally spoke a lot about who you are at the soul level, sister, walking into that place. That's one of the things that I left telling Amanda. I said, man, we are in a room full of powerful givers. So I love that you just referenced that book, because Jack, write that down for me, sister, because I need to read that one.
Yes.
It's a great book. And here's something else that I will share with you. We'll just throw this out to the universe. I am good friends with the author of that book. This is an international best-selling book, and it's a series. So you have like your go-giver leader, your go-giver seller, your go-giver networker, all of these. Go-giver marriage. That was a good one.
Wow.
Yeah, and they're all written like a fable, so it's super easy reads, but so powerful. This is one of the books I give to my young executives as a must read.
Well, I love that. Casey, if you don't mind just kind of starting off, just diving in. We know that you are the CEO of Success North Dallas, right? We also know that you are a keynote speaker. You believe in energy. You live your life through that. From getting to know you, I've learned that is the way that you navigate business and personal relationships, is based off of the energy connections that you feel. Can you dive into a little bit more and just let us get to know you a little bit more personally, kind of what your background is, and then we'll move into where you are today and all the things that you have going on.
I am such a non-traditional career person. So I'm really glad that you asked that question, because I want to be a beacon of hope for those that are misaligned in their careers. So one of my jobs that I do is I'm a recruiter, and a career coach. So I help people find jobs, but I'm not a normal career coach or normal recruiter, because I'm not one of those who just wants to put a butt in the seat. I want to make sure that there is a pure connection between both the candidate and the client, that it is not only a skill set match, but that it's also a culture and an energy match. One of the things I did to help better serve my community a few years ago is I went to coaching school. And I ended up, not by luck, because I don't believe in luck, synchronicities, right?
Yep.
It's because you put that energy out there, that energy comes back to you. I ended up attending the #1 independently ranked coaching school under the International Coaching Federation. The name of the school is IPEC. And guess what their curriculum is based on? You're going to die.
What?
I'm like, tell
Energy
me.
leadership.
What? Well, that's beautiful.
And I did not know that was what the curriculum was when I signed up. It's just, again, as I was working through the process with several different schools, this was the one that kept just drawing my soul back to it. And it wasn't the cheapest. It wasn't the shortest. I went for about a year. But the connections that I have made from going to coaching school, well, Karen Gray, my chief of staff, I met her in coaching school.
Oh, wow. Karen's so beautiful too. What a great team that you've put together over there.
It's very hard because we're not a nonprofit, but we run like a nonprofit. So our work is based off the backs of volunteers. And it's amazing to me that the team that we've established, we have over 30 volunteers, regular volunteers that show up and help. We don't need all 30 every meeting, so we're able to rotate them out so we don't wear them out. But that, I think, speaks volumes to the people in the room, because they want to, because they are getting so much out of those meetings, they want to give back and make it even better. And it just continues to lift the vibration.
Yeah, I'm over here and all over that, Casey, because the truth is sometimes it's difficult to get 30 kids to show up to a free birthday party where cake and ice cream and all the things are being served, let alone to have 30 volunteers show up for people in need. Like, that's wild. Way to go.
It's incredible. And another thing a lot of people don't know, so we have some of the best speakers. The format of Success North Dallas is, we come in, we do networking, and mind you, this is a 7 a.m. meeting. And I was talking to a potential new member yesterday, and his friend had introduced him, and he's like, listen, you get a whole different caliber of people that show up for a 7 a.m. networking event.
Yeah.
And the room is full. That's what blew my mind. I showed up to a 7 a.m. networking event, and the room is packed full of high vibrational humans. I'm like, where did we just end up? This place is awesome. So, Casey, will you speak to us a little bit more about everything that Success North Dallas does? Because as I'm sitting in your room, I'm watching nonprofits be recognized and resources be raised for that. I'm watching young entrepreneurs have a place to go be mentored in business, in investing, and in giving back. I saw a women's event that you guys host for female entrepreneurs. It seems like you guys have a lot of really special things going on underneath that umbrella, and I would love for you to speak to us on what maybe there's even too many to mention, but what are some of your favorite some of the favorite things that you guys plug in and get involved with?
That would be like saying I have a favorite child over another, right?
Sure.
I love all of our initiatives. And so one that we started a few years ago now, I took over Success North Dallas in October of 2022. I took over from the founder who had been there for 34 years. Mm-hmm. And so that was a big deal. And when he founded the organization, he founded it back in 1988 when women weren't really welcome in networking. And so he founded this organization with the principle that it would be a minimum 30% women, and women would be welcomed and they would be cherished and they would be supported. And so fast forward, when he was ready to retire from the organization, he was absolutely insistent that it be a woman to take over. And I'm so honored and humbled that he chose me as that woman to take over. So before I took over, we had started the Young Executives. This group has been going for a couple of years now, and my company, VIP, who is also a partner member with Success North Dallas, we're all very integrated together, also sponsors the Young Executives. We just had our Happy Educational Hour last night, so we do that once a month for them. We bring in really great speakers, different level of speakers, because the speakers we bring in for Success North Dallas are meant to talk and inform the higher level executives. These are our younger level executives. They need different information. Sure. And so the gentleman we had speak last night, his name is Robert Hunt. He wrote a book, Nobody Cares Until You Do. And the premise of that book, it's not about you caring about others. It's about you caring about yourself. You got to care about yourself before you can pour into others. So we did that. I love our young executives. They call me Mommy Mentor because I feel like I mentor all of them. But I don't have a specific one that I mentor. But I do meet with most of them on a regular basis, and just pour into them as much as I can with their careers and stuff like that. Then we recently launched our Women in Success. That has been huge. I don't even know how to describe the need that we have found and filled with these women. And our events are not just get-togethers, they're experiences. And there's several different pillars within these events that take place. So we do recognize a charity, and we do a type of give back for the charity. We focus on a new woman entrepreneur, highlight her. We have the experience, and then we have a woman, a more experienced executive woman speaking into the group. But we want to create that experience so that it bonds the women together. So for example, our next experience, we're going to play some games.
What kind of games, Casey?
I'm excited.
I like games.
We're going to play games that are going to help you get past yourself and break through your limiting beliefs.
That's one of my favorite things to do. So I would like the date.
Well, you have to be there because we're going to highlight your foundation.
Well, I'm excited that I'm definitely there. I'm like, what? Y'all see why I love Casey?
So, and then our last initiative that we just launched, which I am super proud of. I don't have a military background myself, but my son just exited from the Air Force. My dad was a 2-tour Vietnam vet. My boyfriend was in the Army. So I have a deep appreciation for the military. And so we have partnered with SMU and the Catalyst program, which helps veterans transitioning into civilian world, gives them kind of a soft landing. And so we've launched our Veterans Success, which has gone over so well. And we're so proud to be partnering with SMU and the Catalyst program on that.
I just love everything that you guys have going on. And I do want to give a shout out to Bill, who is the founder of Success North Dallas, and the beautiful community that he's built. He's such a beautiful soul as well, Casey. And I can see why the universe aligned you guys for this impact that y'all are given to the entire DFW community and really beyond. I have to share quickly that at the last Success North Dallas, just speaking into the depth and the impact of this group, right? So we were sitting with Cheryl, who's Bill Wash's executive assistant. She's become a great friend of ours. Like, Cheryl is just such a hoot. If you don't know Cheryl, you gotta know Cheryl. She's so great. But she actually walks us up. That was the week that y'all had Greg Reed speaking. And Greg Reed, what an incredible speaker, right? The man's on tables, he's on chairs, he's just a hoot. He's giving out all these free books. Yes, it was so amazing. Afterwards, Cheryl walks Amanda and I up, and just the same kind of entrance that Amanda gave you, where you're like, follow me around all the time. That's how Cheryl does us everywhere we go. Cheryl follows us around and tells everybody how great we are all the time. And she did that with Greg Reed. And so we got to meet him. Long story short, we ended up signing up for the Lunar Project. So Amanda and I are writing a chapter in a book now with Greg Reed in our DNA, and the book that we're writing is going to the moon to be part of this project that he has going on. And that all happened because we showed up at 7 a.m. to Success North Dallas, right? Like that big of an impact. We're getting to launch a book with a best-selling author as the first book that I'm ever publishing. And I just think that that's incredible. And I showed up to one of your events one time, and that was the result of it already. So I am so excited to have the opportunity to get plugged back in and really be able to loop this podcast back around to something that I know is so near and dear to all of our hearts, which is the give back. So Casey, could you speak a little bit to us on why that's so important to you, right? Because I know, sister, how much time, energy, heart, soul, blood, sweat, tears, all the things goes goes into making the impact in the community that you're making and bringing together the resources for the people in the community that you're working on bringing together. Where does that come from inside of you to want to do all this work that you don't necessarily get paid for, right? Like when we start talking about giving back, what is it in you that calls your soul and gives your soul that fire and energy to continue to put in that work? I'm not going to say for free, because we do get rewarded for it in other ways, and we all know that, but not for money, right? It's not the traditional type of payment that people think about. So will you speak to us on kind of what that looks like inside of your soul a little bit?
For me, it is such a powerful drive that I have, if I were to not answer the call to give back, I don't think I'd be able to get out of bed. It's so natural in me. And again, going back to the book, The Go-Giver, when you read that, when I read that book, I was just like, this is why. There's 5 rules in The Go-Giver that they talk about. And I will be a little honest with you on something. So the last rule is the rule of receptivity. And I am such a giver that anytime somebody says, what can I do for you? I'm like, I'm good, and I have had to really work on allowing others to express their giving nature to me and accept that.
Ooh, that's deep and beautiful, sister. I love that.
So I think when it comes to giving back, it's just that I have been blessed with abundance. And when I say abundance, I'm not like rolling in the money or anything like that. It's just I have so many good things and good people in my life that I live abundantly every single day. I know that whatever I need is going to be there. And so number one, I want to give some of that back to others because it's too much for me. I can't hold it all in, right? But I also want to awaken others to their potential to live abundantly. And I do that through this platform.
I love that, Casey. And I love how passionate you are about raising the vibration of the planet. That's literally Amanda and I's mission for CEO AF, is we just want to be part of raising the vibration of the planet. And it's why we align with you so well. And what I like everybody to understand, and what I'd like to ask people to understand within themselves, is at the core essence of it all, we are one, and we've all contracted these beautiful experiences to come and learn and grow and evolve from each other. And as important as it is to give, it is also important to open ourselves up to receiving and to allow that ebb and flow of the beauty that is God's love for giving, both to us and from us, to continue to allow that process to happen. I think is so beautiful. And I know that Amanda and I share a similar soul calling with you on spreading that love and helping others wake up to their divinity so that the ripple effect never really ends, right? The person that you touch touches someone else and someone else and someone else. And collectively as a whole, that's how we raise the vibration of the planet. When we talk about raising the vibration and raising the energy, that's what we're talking about, is overflowing abundantly with so much love and compassion and grace that you're able to start to give that to other people so that they can manifest their own, so that they can give it to the next person. And that's why giving back is so important. Amanda and I were talking a little bit before we hopped onto this podcast, which is why I loved that you just brought up receiving, because when we started talking about a give back podcast and talking to you about it, we both sat here and reflected on the times in our lives when we were the recipients and how good it feels now to be in a place to be able to give, because there were times when people gave me bags of clothes for my son that he wouldn't have had school clothes otherwise. He wouldn't have been in brand. He wouldn't have had Nikes otherwise. And I remember going through these trash bags of clothes that people gave me. It gives me goosebumps because I would have so much gratitude for these trash bags full of clothes that I would cry tears. And I would go through them in my living room and I would sort out what would fit Peyton and what wouldn't fit him and what was nice and what didn't have stains. And if I could take 5 shirts or a couple pairs of pants or a couple pairs of shoes that he could wear this year, if it would fit him next year, I would go ahead and save it in a box for next year. And I had so much gratitude in those moments that when I received that, I felt so abundant. And now I love to go through my kids' gently used items and be able to. That's one of the things that I do pretty regularly on Facebook, is I'll post gently used items for other families out there that just want to come pick it up off the porch, man. I have these awesome clothes or whatever, if you want to come pick it up off of the porch. But that's really where I know for both Amanda and I, a lot of our passion for giving back came from the fact that so many people gave to us when we were on the other side of that.
Yeah. And continue to do it in different ways. It's so wild how things change as, as you grow and go down your journey. The give back today doesn't necessarily look like the meals that are going inside my family's bellies anymore, but it more looks like the knowledge and education and wisdom that I get from people like Casey and Bill, even along the way, and then the introductions into other people's lives to help make that change, to help leave that ripple effect in whatever way it looks like at the time, right? I just think it's so beautiful. So beautiful.
I want to talk about the ripple effect just real quick because it's so beautiful. And so many times we don't have the opportunity to see all the ripple effects that we have. But I was so fortunate to learn. Our charity that we focused on at our Women in Success event is a charity called It's Going to Be Okay, run by Dr. Tanya Stafford. And she expressed to us that she helps rehabilitate women that are rescued from human trafficking. And a lot of times those women come with children. And she's like, we need diapers so bad. And we're like, we'll do a diaper drive for you. And we did. And we raised a lot of diapers. And we were very proud of that. We had a very limited number of people that attended because of our venue. But we were at capacity with a waiting list. But those women that came donated 25 boxes of diapers and about $310 towards the diapers, which we were ecstatic about. And we announced this at the meeting that you two came to. And I had no idea that you launched your own diaper drive after that. And you ended up raising like 5 times what we raised. And that's beautiful. I'm so excited about that because in a way we helped raise that by raising the awareness of this organization.
We found her. I'll share with you quickly that our newest foundation that we're launching is the Spirit of Agape Foundation. And the goal of the Spirit of Agape Foundation is to support charities like Dr. Tanya, who they're on the ground doing the work, right? And for people out there that don't know the difference in a foundation and a charity, charities are typically the ones out there, boots on the ground, doing the work with the people. Foundations typically support missions like that. So that was our goal, is that we knew to start this foundation, we knew that there's so many great charities out there like Tanya's that they don't have maybe the marketing to get the exposure that they need to get some of these resources volunteered, or they're underfunded, or they don't have enough they don't have 30 volunteers showing up yet, right? So they're in need. But what they do have is a beautiful passion, a beautiful mission, and a beautiful calling, and a heart to get out there and help. And I'll tell you, Casey, that I prayed that the first charity that we got to help was somebody that was helping survivors of sex trafficking transition out of that. I walked into your organization and that's who you were highlighting. So we found her before we ran out the door, and I'm like, sister, I have prayed for this connection. Amanda and I told her, we have been praying for a connection to a charity like yours. Please allow us the opportunity to get involved and help. It would be our true honor. We did raise multiple different sizes of diapers. My office, our entire storage at our office was completely filled up with boxes of diapers, but also some other, like some feminine products for them, and some different bras and panties and sweats and some things like that. And it goes back to show how far some of the ripple effect could be buying a pack of diapers. Because what that does for that woman in that situation, and it gives her the hope to know that she does not have to go back there just to buy the damn diapers, man. And that made me, it just gets me all the feelings inside when we talk about Dr. Tanya, because I'm like, we can keep the women off the streets by providing the babies diapers. We can do that. We can do that. And with our help, your help and our help and the ripple effect that we're talking about, she can do that for more women. And that's why the ripple effect is so powerful. And I'm so grateful for the piece that you played in that, Casey, and for us getting the opportunity to get involved with you on supporting the It's Gonna Be Okay Foundation here in Dallas-Fort Worth.
I am so amazed. I have so many other organizations that have approached me that I will share with you offline. A lot of veterans organizations, well-known veterans organizations are reaching out to me, which is also, it gives me the opportunity to meet people that are having an impact in the world and to support them kind of like you do. I don't want to run a charity. That's not what I'm called to do, but I can support those charities like you guys are doing. Maybe not with a formal foundation, but through my network and my connections, I'll find somebody that can help them.
100%. And that's really just the goal, is being able to match the needs to the resources. And we believe we don't always have to see, I don't have to see the babies in the diapers. You know, I trust in the universe and what those alignments are bringing together, and I trust in advance the outcomes that are going to come. I already know those diapers are keeping women off the street, and I can be grateful for that right now without having to see a thing. And that's what we really want the audience, to anybody listening, to understand, is that it's the biggest thing that I've been learning in my soul lately is the true art of unconditional love. And with unconditional love, the blessing truly is to be able to give the love. The blessing is to be able to give the blessing, not necessarily to be able to receive on the other side of that. So, you know, when you're out there giving, you can just already trust in the good that's going to come, in the reciprocity that's going to come back to you energetically for doing those give backs. And you can feel really great in your own. I love, Casey, also that you talked about self-love earlier. That I don't even think we've spoke enough on that. But one of our core values at CEOAF is love yourself. And I truly believe that when we love others, it also impacts. As we love ourselves, we love others, but also as we love others, it helps build that self-love and self-confidence inside of myself. I love to see myself show up for other people. It makes me feel proud of myself. It makes me feel proud to be around other women that do the same, such as you and Amanda. And it's such a beautiful thing to be a go-giver.
Well, and I like to, instead of calling it self-love or self-care, I like to call it self-optimization.
I love that.
Because we do those things. We get the sleep we need. We work out. We fuel our body. We do those things. We fuel our mind through reading to optimize ourselves so that we can show up better for others.
I love that, sister.
Self-optimization.
I'm like, we'll write that one down. So, Casey, is there anything that we haven't hit on yet, or maybe for people listening right now that are wanting to get involved? Amanda, you too, maybe that's something that I should have planned before we jumped on here. But Casey, if somebody wants to get involved with Success North Dallas, with some of the initiatives that you have going on, we've talked about so much in this podcast, from Women's Success Initiative, Veteran Success Initiatives, Young Entrepreneur Success Initiatives, to higher level executives, to the 501c3 charities out there on the ground doing the work. Is there somewhere, a hub, where anybody interested in any of that is able to connect to you, sister?
So the best way to connect to me personally is on LinkedIn. That's where I pretty much live. I'm horrible on Instagram. I'm rarely on Facebook, but I live on LinkedIn. So just Casey Hayston on LinkedIn. You can go to my website, caseyhayston.com. There's ways to connect with me there. And also successnorthdallas.com. You can, and I would encourage you to go to successnorthdallas.com. Go to the videos, and there's a 2-minute video there that says, "See what goes on in our meetings."
Oh, I love that.
And you're going to watch this video, and you're going to think it's a compilation of several meetings. This is one meeting. This is the same day. And you will feel that energy will jump out of the screen at you.
Well, I am excited, and I'm excited to come back to our next event, Casey. I know we have it on the calendar, so I'm excited to get back in that room with those people. And thank you so much for your time today, sister. Is there anything else that you want to leave our listeners with before we let you get back to your world impact today?
You know, I will share one more thing. One other way that I am trying to help raise the energy, a couple of things. And I know we probably need to wrap this up. There's a great book out there called Power versus Force. If you've not read it, it talks about the importance of raising the energy. It's based on 30 years of scientific research. So what we're talking about here is not woo-woo. It is real. It exists. It's measured. The other thing that I'm doing to help raise that energy and raise the consciousness of the world is I have put together a quarterly journal that wraps up all of my strategies and processes that I use to get stuff done. And so it's called Awaken Your Potential.
I love that.
And our community is Destination Awaken. And you can go to destinationawaken.world to find out more.
I will be doing that. I need the journal. I'm going to go. Jacqueline, did you write down that website, sister? Jacqueline's in the studio with me today. I'm so grateful. Like, Jacqueline, take my notes, girl. Casey is dropping books left and right. Is everybody writing these down? Like,
so Power versus Force, Casey, is so great. I just got my hands on that a couple weeks ago. And last week inside the conference room brought to you by CEOAF, we actually went through that map of consciousness that Dr. R. Hawkins built for us to be able to see how energy is a real thing, how raising the vibration of not only your energy, but others around you is a real thing. And
that's
what
measurable.
Energy, frequencies and wavelengths, that we can work off of. And my favorite part about the entire map was the fact that it was leveled out in a way where you can tell when maybe you're not working at an energy that is forced versus powerful. So I absolutely love that you brought that book up. You guys highly recommend Power versus Force by Dr. David R. Hawkins.
Hawkins, yeah. You know, one thing I do each morning, I have a journaling practice. That's part of my morning, my miracle morning, which could be a whole nother podcast. But anyway, I actually write down my energy level in the morning, and I'm honest with myself. And if I'm not happy with it, it's up to me to change it. Ooh, it's absolutely up to me.
Absolutely.
Is some of that stuff built into your journal that you created, Casey?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Miracle Morning. I mean, that just sounds absolutely beautiful. I'm excited to get
the book.
journal. Miracle Morning is also a book?
Yeah, that's what started my whole transformation, was reading that book.
That's the one for you, huh?
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited. I'm like, well, I've got to grab that. Okay, I have lots of books to read, so I'm excited. So, absolutely, in recap, guys, 1, we got to keep raising the vibration of the planet. It's measurable. It's not woo-woo stuff, right? And the best way to, the highest frequency, what was the highest frequency on Dr. Hawkins' scale, Amanda? Do you remember?
Yeah, it's enlightenment, and it's measured between a 700 and 1,000. And they say that the only few people that have made it to that state were more of our lords. So it was Jesus Christ, it was Buddha, it was Gandhi, it was those guys.
Yep.
And love was up there on the high frequency scale too. Love, compassion, surrender were right underneath enlightenment, if I remember that scale that you showed us last week. And I just think so beautifully to understand that love is a measurable frequency, and that when we're go-givers and we get out into the world and we're giving that energy, we are measurably raising the vibration of the planet. If you are local to DFW and you are an entrepreneur, which a lot of our audience is right here in our own backyard in our community, you have to go check out Success North Dallas and get involved with some of the initiatives that they're in. Man, I'm going to be honest with you, Casey, it takes me an hour and a half to get there, sister, with traffic from my house at 7 a.m. I have to be leaving my house. I have to get up at 4:30, leave my house by 5:30 to get to that meeting on time. It's worth it. It is 1,000% worth it to go. So I would encourage anybody listening to do that. And guys, it sounds like, ladies and gents, that we all need to go over and grab Casey's journal from her that she's put together. That sounds like a resource in itself to help to start to raise your own frequency so that you can give that out and be part of raising it for the world, because it does start with self-optimization, right? It does have to start internally before you can give it. So thank you so much for your time today, Casey. I just appreciate you so much, sister. Every time we get together, I just feel tingly and on fire and remember why I do everything that I do all over again. So I really appreciate your time, but more so your energy and your love that you give during that time.
Thank you so much for having me. I knew the moment I met you two that we were going to be friends, and it didn't work out the first time, but the universe was determined that we were going to be friends. So not letting you go this time.
Same.
So. Likewise. Love y'all so big. Thank you, Casey.
Thank you.
And everybody, if you got anything from this podcast, if you took one note, right, hit the share button and make sure that if you are looking for a way to be part of the ripple effect today and you're like, Kimba, you know what, I really can't buy the diapers, I'm really not sure what to do, hit the share button. It's free 99. Help be part of the ripple effect that spreads beautiful messages and stories like Casey's out to the entire world. And that alone is you help raising the vibration of the planet. We love you so big. In between this podcast and next one, stay CEOAF. Bye.
Bye.